Welcome to One-on-One with Walt Laskos. In this brief podcast, you'll learn how to most effectively address senior financial exploitation. Now, here's Walt.
We've all seen the stories of financial scams and fraud, and readily acknowledge how they continue to grow in sophistication, reach, and execution. Seeing this, I ask myself, why then do we continue to pursue the same old efforts to mitigate their impact, or to educate and motivate consumers on ways to avoid becoming a victim? If scams are continually changing, adapting, and evolving, then we too must embrace similar skills and tactics to keep pace in the fight. We too need to be sophisticated in our own efforts, creative and innovative. And most important, we need to come together and work together collaboratively to generate the kind of strength and synergy required to make an impact. Today's episode highlights the success of one collaborative effort that perhaps can serve as a model for all others to emulate. Joining me today is Jennifer Leach and Cheryl Harris. Jennifer leads the FTC's Division of Consumer and Business Education with the mission of helping consumers know their rights and businesses their responsibilities while helping both avoid fraud. Cheryl is the director of the Cuyahoga County Department of Consumer Affairs. Her office leads Scam Squad, a collaborative financial fraud task force made up of social service agencies, local police, the Ohio Attorney General's office, and federal agencies with a physical presence in the county. Jennifer, let's start with you. Talk to us about your work as Associate Director of the Division of Consumer and Business Education at the FTC. What does it all encompass?
Thank you, Walt. I run one of the best teams in government and have one of the best jobs in government. Honestly, we take what the FTC is doing on consumer protection and make it accessible to people. There is some great work going on here at the Federal Trade Commission to try to protect consumers. And my team just makes it plain language and makes it accessible to people and gets it out there into the world. We also use it to keep learning how scammers are working and how we can help people spot, avoid, and report scams. Our goal is to get it out in print and in video and online and in graphics and get it into the hands of people who can take it and use it and customize it and keep spreading the word.
And Jennifer, of course, your work and all of the FTC's educational resources only have value when shared with collaborators and other various audiences throughout the country. Talk to us about their importance to you and the value they bring to the agency's efforts to mitigate scams and fraud.
So we have a team of 17 people and the audience is all consumers. So we need partners. We need them. We work through them all the time. Cheryl is one of our partners. It's wonderful. We learn from our partners on a regular basis, and it's just vital, both in terms of reach. We need these partners to be able to reach into communities, but it's in terms of trust, because people tend to trust people they know. They don't know me. In Cuyahoga County, they may know Cheryl. And so if she carries a message that originated with the Federal Trade Commission, that's better. If a credit union carries a message that originated with the Federal Trade Commission, that's better, because people trust the people they know and the institutions they know to deliver messages that are sometimes hard. And so that is one of the most essential reasons that we work through partners.
And turning now for our local perspective, Cheryl, what does your work as Director of Cuyahoga County's Department of Consumer Affairs entail?
So we make sure that Cuyahoga County consumers get what they pay for. And we do that through our Division of Weights and Measures. We do it through a Division of Consumer Protection that takes complaints against companies and investigates those. But our big bread and butter work has actually turned out to be Scam Squad, which is our financial fraud task force. The FTC we are snotty about it. Like, you have to have a footprint in Cuyahoga County to be in the club. But the Federal Trade Commission actually has their East Central region, and it's housed here in Cleveland. So they're in our county. We have an FBI office here. So we really have these incredible partners. Local police, social service agencies, and everybody has this incredible expertise that they bring to the mix. And so I find that our work and our efforts to notify, just to let consumers know, let our residents know, here are scams, current scams that are out there. They're kind of tricky, and here's how you can protect yourself. We have all that deep expertise in the group, both about how to combat scams and then how to alert our public.
And Cheryl, give our audience an understanding of the status of financial scams and fraud across Cuyahoga County. What do you see consumers experiencing these days?
So scams are becoming much more difficult for people to spot, and that could be anything, just like those little wrong person texts. Hey, are we still on for dinner tonight? And, people say, I don't know this person. They respond back, and then they get befriended and sucked into, say, an investment scam, right? They get texts that look like they're from the government, telling them they didn't pay a turnpike toll or something else. I mean, our residents can report scams anywhere they want. They can report it to the AG, they can report it to the FBI, directly to the FTC. But of those folks who reported scams to us, we talked to one-on-one with, more than 1,300 consumers who encountered scams. 164 of those told us they lost money. And of the ones who could quantify the amount, they lost $5.2 million. And that's just the ones reported to our office, not scams reported directly to any of our partners or to local police. I mean, it's staggering the amount of money that people are losing, and sometimes losing in a really quick period, like a weekend or a week.
Oh my God. Let me ask both of you to talk a little bit about the synergies that have resulted from the collaborative relationship that you have formed with each other, and how that has helped to fuel each of your efforts to educate consumers on scam prevention. Jennifer, let's start with you.
So Cheryl has a really deep background in consumer protection and visibility into what's happening, as she was describing, on the ground, and also a lot of creativity in how to approach that. So Cheryl and I have been on task forces together, and we've done all kinds of things together. But one of the ways I think our agencies work really well together is that they're early spotters of things. I mean, when a scam is just popping, Cheryl will often give us a call and say, we're starting to see this. Are you seeing this yet? And we can go look for it in the data, because we're getting so many reports. It's hard to know where to start looking. And so that has been incredibly helpful, that and the sort of creative ideas and somebody to bounce ideas around to see if, would this work? Would that work? And her ability to do research on some of it, which has been invaluable to the agency.
And I feel like it's the flip side for us, Jennifer, because, we're doing these one-on-ones, and we had this very, local, anecdotal view of what's walking in our door as opposed to what really exists. And so when we reach out to the FTC and say, we're hearing this, are you seeing this anywhere else? They've got all that data, and they regularly produce things called data spotlights, which anybody can look at. Anybody on this call can go look at, that tell you trending scams across the country. And we know if something's trending somewhere else, it's going to get here. So that's invaluable as well. Just getting that big view of what's really moving. We can spot payment methods that are changing, so we can prepare our own residents, and we can see scams themselves morphing and changing.
So you get this cycle, right? Well, that Cheryl can see what's happening other places, but we know if it's happening in Cuyahoga County, it is going to be happening somewhere else. So it's a good conversation, an ongoing conversation that helps all of us.
Yeah. And it's really great to see the strength of the synergy that exists, because both of you, bring value to one another and reciprocate back in terms of what you could deliver to one another as well, too, which is really provides a strength that's very unique to your given situation.
Yeah, and if anybody is trying to write about scams for their own, customers or anything, I think no one does it better than Jennifer's team. They take very complicated scams and they put out messages that are very, easy to digest, easy to understand. Here's exactly what you need to know. Here's what you do to protect yourself. And they're lean and mean and so effective. And, we really find that valuable as well. And we're trying to create materials for our residents.
Well, let's talk a little bit more now about your action plan. How is it intended to be applied? And ultimately, how do you see it being received by consumers? Cheryl, start us off on that.
So the action plan, we wanted to create something that was like a little more meaty for our residents, especially some of our older residents who aren't really comfortable going online. So we created the Scam Squad Guide, and it's a little 24-page booklet, and it explains to people not only like why, what are scammers after, but here are the exact techniques that they use to get that. And then it talks about specific scams. And as we were creating that, we were just thinking, okay, so they're going to know this stuff, but what can we do that's like a call to action? What can we do to help them prepare? And so we created this action plan. It's in the back of the book, and now we do it as a separate handout. But it just lets you list who are the people in your corner? We all have people. We all have experts in our own lives. We have, the nephew who's a computer geek. We have the sister-in-law who is an accountant. We have people who have skills. So if what we're trying to do is get people to list those people, who are people that you can check with if you get something that's telling you have a problem and it's going to take money to resolve it. What are the people in your network? And then we pre-fill Scam Squad in there, and also our county sheriff's department. And then there's a page that lets you actually list all the companies that you do business with, their websites and their phone numbers, because a lot of times what these scammers are doing is they're calling and pretending to be companies and if you need to verify, what people tend to do is use the numbers the scammers give them, which is very bad. And so we want you to have like the actual numbers for the companies that you're going to check with to verify. So you have them right there. And then you have this thing by your phone. So when you need it, you already have a plan in place. You're not trying to think, oh, where did I put that book? You already know in your brain. And because you had to fill it out, we think you know that more deeply than if you just read it.
And Jennifer, how about your perspective on it?
So Cheryl said very kind things about our work, but the example we're giving is one that we stole completely from Cheryl. This was when we saw this action plan, I asked her immediately if we could have permission to use it, because that's what we hope people will do with our stuff, right? So all we care about, I think I speak for both of us here, is that the word gets out. And so when we saw it, we thought this is an opportunity to try to get people to stop. Because one of the things that scammers do is they try to get you to rush. They are in a hurry. They want you to pay them money to collect your prize, or they want you to pay them money to solve some problem that they've invented. And they want to stay on the phone with you when you go to the bank to get the money, or go to the ATM, the Bitcoin ATM, or wherever it is. We want people to slow down. And we're really hoping, just as Cheryl said, that if you do this pre-work and you write down these phone numbers of, the people you care about who care about you, and the people you do business with, that will be enough to just take a breath and hopefully, do some checking. And honestly, I'm really hoping that maybe as a product of this, maybe some credit unions will pre-populate some of this, the action plan, and have people call them if their members have a concern or a worry.
And I think that's very important, the point that you make. So, ultimately, what would you like to see as the results coming from this working relationship that you have with Cheryl and her efforts? Because I'm seeing that this certainly may pave the way as a valuable model for others throughout the country, and particularly for, as you mentioned, credit unions, that they could be participating and demonstrating to all of us.
Look, I think that we have a lot of resources. There are people like Cheryl across the country. Nobody's quite as good as Cheryl, but there are a lot of people like Cheryl across the country. And people like me sitting in state attorney general's offices and other federal agencies. We have resources. We really want to share them. We want to get them out. I am a nerd and consumer protection nerd enough to say that I have a little bit of a dream that maybe some credit unions would adopt this action plan. We will help you co-brand it. We will help you, do the design part. You have to pay to print it. We can't afford that, but we will help you do the work. We have actual reports into Sentinel that say from credit unions that, we actually used an FTC brochure. We have how to avoid a scam, and people have used it. It's in their credit unions, and people have come in to withdraw money, and they'll show it to people and say, does this seem like what's happening right now? And they've not withdrawn the money. I think both of us hope that, our resources can be used in credit unions, can start a conversation among credit unions and between credit unions and their members to try to slow some of this down, because scammers are ramping up, and we have to really work together to try to fight them.
And, as we see scams and different types of frauds becoming more sophisticated and overtaking folks, I think in the same way, we in our response and how we protect our folks that are entrusted to us, we too have to become more sophisticated, more collaborative, and more energetic and creative, and how we really adopt new ways of thinking and new approaches to protect those folks as well. As we wrap up our conversation, it's most appropriate to have each of you share your closing thoughts and recommendations to those who are looking to enhance their own efforts to train staff or educate audiences on scam prevention. Cheryl, let's hear from you first.
I just want to say this. If your credit union has branches in Cuyahoga County, please reach out and talk to us, because we have materials for you. And we are we've created a new scam prevention tool that we think can be used at the teller window. We're trying to study that, and we desperately need credit unions to partner with us to do that work. And it may give you a new tool in the fight against scams. So, just reach out. We're cuyahogacounty.gov/scam squad, and we're happy to connect with you and share whatever we have with you.
And Jennifer, the last word is yours.
I would just invite everyone on this podcast or a call to get in touch. We would love to work with you. We would love to help you co-brand the action plan. We would love to even help you co-brand the how to avoid a scam. All of us just really need to work together on this. Your tellers are on the front line of watching people take money out. We read the reports, but your people are actually seeing it. And it may be people they know and care about who may not want to listen to them in the moment. So I would love to be able to help you make a plan, help them make a plan, and try to help keep people's money in their own accounts rather than giving it to scammers. So we would look forward to working with you.
So Jennifer and Cheryl, thank you for taking time today to help all of us come to a better understanding of scam prevention education and all the resources available to strengthen our own efforts in this ongoing struggle. And in particular, how you show your collaborative working together to be really a strength in helping protect those that are entrusted to you. Thank you again for being with us.
Thanks so much.
Thank you.
And thank you too for watching. Have a good day.
If you've enjoyed this conversation, don't forget to follow One-on-One with Walt Laskos wherever you get your podcasts. Feel free to send comments to walt@laskoscommunications.com. And to learn more about how you might support the prevention of elder financial scams, visit laskoscommunications.com.